Welcome. It's good to be together with you today. Today we're going to do it a little different, and we're going to bring equipping, but we're going to bring equipping in a little different way. And that is today I've got the opportunity for my wife and I to be here together. My wife, Sarah. Sarah, thank you. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for sharing today. And really, what we want to do today is answer some of the questions people ask us as a couple that are in ministry with a very large family. We get a lot of questions about our family. And so does that sound good? Can we address some of that together?
Sure.
Awesome. So people ask us questions all the time, and we we stick out as a family because there's so many of us, and so we do get a lot of questions. What would you say would be a question people ask us a lot?
How many kids do we have?
How many kids do we have? In fact, I've answered that question multiple times this week. So how many kids do we have?
We have 9 children, and our oldest is almost 21, and our youngest is 5.
Yeah, so when we work through the order, let's work through it a little bit. We've got our oldest son is Gavin, and he is going to be 21.
21, yeah.
And our next oldest son is Angel, and he's 18, going to be 19 this next week. And then we get down to our third,
Merrick,
Mare Bear.
and he is 18.
He's 18. And then next is Eiler,
And Eiler just turned 16.
16. Then we've got our daughter, Savannah, and she's 14. And then Juju,
Yep, he just turned 11.
11. And then we got Katie. We got 3 all in a row, real tight. Katie's 10. And then we got Kian, just at his birthday.
He's also 10.
He's also 10, just at his birthday. And then we got little Gia.
Yep, she's 5.
She's 5. And she's actually running everything. So that's our crew. And what's another question people ask about our family, especially when they see all of our kids?
They'll ask if they're all ours.
Yeah. And when people ask the question, are they all yours? What do they actually mean?
I think they're often asking, like, are we a blended family?
Yeah.
Are they from different marriages?
Is this the carpool?
Yeah.
What's going on? Are you guys the bus driver?
Yeah. So, I don't think they mean it in a negative way.
It can come across that way sometimes when people say, are they yours? People don't mean it negative. It can come across that way. We can see right through that, though. And so I'll often say when people ask, are they all yours? I'll say, well, yeah, they're all mine. These are my children. But what they really mean is, like,
they don't all look like us.
They don't all look like you. So, like, is this all from the same marriage? Is, like what you've said, are you a blended family? And so they are all ours. And how did that come to be?
Well, about 20 years ago, God called us on a journey of adoption. And so we've been blessed over the last 10 years to adopt 5 of our kids through the California foster care system.
Yeah. One of the verses that God used in our hearts real early on is from James 26 and 27. If anyone thinks he's religious and does not bridle his tongue but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. But, verse 27, religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world. And God has really put in our heart just a real tender place for both orphans and widows. And we want to be reaching out, to both. And so with that, 12 years ago, we had our first child come to our home who needed a family. And how did that happen?
So at the time, we had 3 boys, and we desired a daughter, and we had a heart for adoption. And there's a moment that we just really felt God told us, are you going to keep praying about it, or are you going to do something about it? And so we began our journey, one paper at a time, one phone call at a time. And in 2010, our daughter Savannah came home just before her 3rd birthday.
Yeah. And what organization did we work with for our first daughter coming into our home?
We used Koinonia Family
Homes.
Homes.
Yeah. Koinonia Family Homes. And really that was in partnership with the county. And so through foster care, our daughter came to our home. And so now we're a family of 6 with 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl. And what happens next?
We thought we were done.
We thought we were done. We thought we were done. God had a different thought.
You did.
What's the thought that God had?
A month after Savannah's official adoption day, which was January of 2012, I would find out the next month that I was pregnant, and we would be expecting our 4th son. And the reason it was such a surprise is a year prior, I'd have surgery to no longer be able to have kids. So God had a different plan, and we would have a 4th son born in October, and that was Kian.
So we think, we've got 3 boys. Hey, we're done having boys. Let's adopt a girl. Okay, we're done, like totally done. Our family's set, and then God brings another baby boy.
Yeah.
So now we've got 5 kids, and we're a family of 7, and we think for sure we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We got to be done. We got a full team.
Yep.
What happens next?
6 months after Kian was born, our adoption agency, Koinonia, would call, and she let me know that she knew we weren't looking at the time to adopt any more kids, but that the county had a little girl that needed a home and they didn't have one. And so would we be willing to bring her home for 24 to 48 hours? And so 45 minutes later, our daughter Katie would arrive on our doorstep, and thankfully we were given the gift that she never had to leave. And so 2 years later, we would adopt Katie, and we would become a family of 8.
And, that was a huge surprise also because, we were on a list. We didn't know we were on a list, to get a phone call. So now we have 4 boys and we've got 2 girls. So we got 6 kids. We're a family of 8. Surely we're done. Gotta be. We've got to be done. We're like a family of 8. That's a huge family. That's like 2 families. So surely we're done. So what happens next?
Well, I think we started to pick up that we were kind of open to whatever God had because his plans were always different. But we would be a family of 8 for quite a few years. And actually today, 5 years ago, we would welcome home 3 of our kids, and they are been with us for 5 years.
Yeah. Today is actually what we call Gotcha Day. Yeah. And 5 years ago, we gotcha'd 3 kids. And pretty incredible to now have 9 children, a family of 11.
How come we welcomed home 3?
How come we welcomed home 3?
Yeah, what happened for us to do that?
Because of the family relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of our adopted daughters. So one of our adopted daughters, we find out, 5 years ago, we find out she has a baby sister. Yeah. She's got a baby sister. We're like, wow, we didn't even know she had a baby sister. Well, come to find out the baby sister was 2 months old at that time. And so they call us and say, hey, would you be open to being a part of the solution for the baby sister? We're like, yeah, absolutely. Well, great. And by the way, the baby sister also has 2 adult brothers, or not 2 adults, but 2 older brothers. And at that time, it would have been ages 13 and 6. Yeah, 13 and 6. they're 13 and 5 at that time. I was like, yeah, okay, wow. Okay, so not only does one of our kids have a baby sister, but that baby sister also has 2 older brothers. Like, wow. So on the same day, 3 came to our home 5 years ago today.
Yep.
So we're now a family of 11. We have 9 children. And when people see that we're a family of 11 and have 9 children, what's a question that they ask us?
How do you do it? What does it look like every day in your home? Because there was quite a few years we had all 9 at home.
Yeah.
So
5 years.
so
5 years.
What does that look like on a daily
Yeah.
routine?
And we have 3 adult sons that are now in college, but for the majority of 5 years, we had 9 children in the home. So what does that look like? When people came into our home, what would they find if they came to our home?
Well, thankfully, Joel and I thrive on schedules and organization and routines. And so that is something that we've had to implement and something that I see very different from our older boys growing up than our younger ones now who understand to grab their lists and follow their lists when they get home from school and where things go. And each night we fill out a planner together so they know what to expect the next day, so they don't have to keep asking or who's going to be at what sporting event and who's going where, which ultimately it's so we remember where to go.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of kids going different places, but high planning, high organization. But I would also say high communication, that you and I, as our family has grown, we have had to grow significantly in our ability to communicate with one another, to really make sure we're on the same page. Yeah. Another thing, or what were you going to say? You're going to say something about that.
No, just the other question I get is like, how do you cook or what does meals look like in your home? And my gift is not cooking. Yeah. I don't love it. And I had to come to the realization a lot of years ago that to be the best mom that I could be didn't mean I had to make everything from scratch or kind of live a fairy tale of like growing it all and prepping it all and making it all. So Costco is my best friend. And our oldest son at college just told me, Mom, I miss Costco food.
That's right.
So
because what he grew up on. That's
my legacy.
And it's not a fairy tale for some people to do all those things, grow their own food and make their own clothes and have homemade meals. But we roll a little different. Yeah. We're more rolling like summer camp. And it's like we have the eternal summer camp that's going on in our home. We've got 9 kids that came over to spend the night. They never left. And we've been feeding them 3 meals a day since. Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. So,
grocery delivery, paper plates.
Yeah.
And lists.
That's right. Lists. High organization. What's something else? Anything else that you'd want to share that people, they ask about our family. They see us in ministry. They see us as a large family. And anything people ask you a lot?
I just think I'd want to share that, God calls us to do crazy stuff. And I didn't ever envision being a mom to 9 kids or being a senior pastor's wife or being a stay-at-home mom most of my adult life. But many years ago, I wanted to be obedient to the Lord and whatever that looked like. And He's taken us on a journey I never imagined. But I would just encourage you, is there something God wants you to step out and trust Him to do? It might not be adoption, but that's what God used in our life. And I know that the last phone call when we said yes to 3 more kids, people thought we were crazy. Mm-hmm. We were bringing home a teenage son. We were intervening like in our birth order. So it's the first time that, now our second oldest was going to be the third oldest. But God was clear and we both knew that's what we were supposed to do. And even though it's been hard and a lot of sacrifice, I'm much rather be obedient to what God's asked us, and the joy and the wins and the things that have come in the better person that I've become because of God using that. And so I just encourage, like, whatever it is, that you would be willing to say yes to what God is calling you to do.
And it might not be easy.
No.
It might be really hard. It might be difficult. There might be pain.
Yeah.
There might be hardship. There might be trouble because you said yes to what God is asking you to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the blessing of being obedient to what God asks us to do, it far outweighs all the things that are really difficult. Because when I think about our children, I'm so glad they're our children. And I'm so glad we're their parents. And I'm so glad we've been able to see incredible transformation in their lives, to see kids come to Christ and want to live for Christ in our family. And now, 3 of them are adults, and we're working on getting the other 6 to be adults as well. And I'm just really thankful for what God's done. Yeah. So anything else you'd want to share?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back again and we'll share more about our lives and about our ministry, about our family, and about serving the Lord. But I want to say thanks for being with us, and we want to continue to bring equipping. Today's a little unique because we're talking about our life and ministry and our family. But we want to keep equipping you and equipping you to follow Jesus Christ. And so we look forward to being with you again real soon.